Danke. Guten Abend.
The original sound, from what I've read and can hear and stuff, and it's kind of strikes a chord with me. Having worked in a studio for 8 years, is basically he recorded the guitar directly into the tape machine, probably via a preamp or a desk or something, but to give it the level. But it was pretty much clean straight out the guitar into the tape machine. So there's a lot of tape saturation on that sound, and then he ran it back out of the tape machine through some compressors and a guitar amp of some sort, probably some kind of Fender combo. It was a Fender Twin, yeah, and then mic'd that up and then blended the two together. So when I'm recreating that sound, I've actually got on the line 6, because you can have 2 different amp models running at once, I've actually got a DI'd sound, so I've completely turned off all the amp. What I've got in the front end of it, so the guitar goes into 2 different compressors, one of which gives you the sustain and the other which gives you that sort of that clicking sound, the plosive sound, and then you come out of that into the line 6, and I've got one where I've got a Fender Twin emulation sound, and I've also got a completely crystal clear DI'd sound, and I mix the 2 together with various levels. So there's actually, I'd say, almost no distortion at all on that, yet you can still keep the thickness of the sound because of the levels of compression, and then you have to give it a bit of distance. You have to give the amp sound a bit of room, so it sounds, if you mic things up too close in the studio,
This is great.
Yeah. If you mic things up in the studio, it becomes a bit too, certain notes will jump out, whereas if you mic from further away, you get more of a sound overall. In the same way that when you're playing a drum kit, you don't listen to the snare right close to the snare. You'll listen to the kit as one whole instrument. Well, the same thing's true of a guitar amp. So that's basically how I've created the sound. Actually, I'd say out of all the sounds that I use in the show, that's probably one of the most accurate sounds that we use. So I'll show you it later. Yeah. But yeah, it does sound good. Obviously, on the original, it wasn't played on a Strat, so to emulate that, I'm sort of using the neck pickup of the Strat to try and get the thicker tone. But yeah, it does sound pretty close.